Today we're going to look at this OREI HD931, and to me this is a very important product because TVs have been changing, soundbars have been changing, but not everyone can keep up with the paces. First of all, if you went out and bought yourself a new television, you probably realize that if you have older audio equipment, you can no longer hook it up because it only has fiber optic output. But what about analog? Or if you went out and bought yourself a new streaming device, like a 4K Amazon Q, 4K Apple TV, or a 4K Roku, and you're unable to get your old television to output Dolby Atmos to your new soundbar, well, this HD931 is going to allow you to plug your 4K device directly into it, and it's going to extract up to 7.1 compressed audio for Dolby Atmos directly to your soundbar. At the same time, it's going to have an output that goes over to any TV or monitor. Before we get started, let me show you what comes in the box. First of all, you get an instruction book. You get a 3.5 millimeter to female RCA adapter, and it comes with the power cord with the USB-C end on it. Plus, you get the HD931. Now let's take a look at the back of the unit. First of all, you have an audio selector, so you can go from 2 channels over to 7.1. You also have a USB input, and you can use the power cord that came with it or use your own. Over here, you have your analog 3.5 millimeter output. You also have a fiber optic output. You have 3 HDMIs. One HDMI can go over to an amplifier, one can go over to a soundbar, and this one can go over to the TV. Plus, you can plug the TV back into it and use these outputs just in case your TV does not have an analog output. And on the front of the unit, you have these indicators. First of all, this is 2 channels, 5.1, 7.1, and it's eARC. If you have a television plugged into it, they'll light up with the HDMI outputs on the television. On the bottom, there's some notches so you can mount it on the wall, plus there's some rubberized feet so it holds securely to any type of table. There's multiple ways that you can use this audio extractor. For this demonstration, what I did is took the HDMI outputs where it says eARC on the back of this television, I ran it to television on the audio extractor, then I took the 3.5 millimeter outputs and hooked it up to some audio patch cables and plugged it directly into the speakers. Now the great thing about this is that now you have analog outputs, but keep in mind whenever you hook it up this way, it only can support 2 channels and it does not support Dolby Atmos. With everything all hooked up, you can see that it shows 2 channels as well as eARC, and that means that the TV is actually seeing the audio extractor. Now we'll tell you, on your television, you may see the volume can go up and down, but since this is an analog source that I'm using on these speakers, you have to manually use the volume or the remote control that comes with the speaker. But just to show you guys that it works, so now you can have an analog source on your television. Earlier on this video, I showed you 3 streaming devices, and I will tell you, if you really want to get the best sound, you want to have a Dolby Atmos soundbar. Now, streaming devices are compressed 7.1, however, Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 with HDMI 2.1 cables can support uncompressed 7.1 audio. So let me show you some examples of how you can force your different consoles or streaming devices into giving you that 7.1 output. The HD931 does come with an instruction book, but let me show you how I configured everything right here. The first thing I did is I took the TV output and I ran it over to the HDMI ARC on the television. Next, I took the Roku and hooked it up to the front input. Then I took the eARC output and ran it directly to the soundbar where it says HDMI eARC input. Now I'm going to show you 4 examples how you can extract better audio out of your system. Here's the first example of what you can do using Disney+. I pulled up Thor and you can see that it's reading 5.1 audio. Watch what happens when I choose 7.1 on the audio extractor. Once it comes back up, you can exit out of the movie, go back in, and now you have an option for Dolby Atmos 7.1 output. Now I'm going to show you how you can get uncompressed audio out of PS5 using the HDMI 2.1 cables. But first of all, if you go down to Sound and go to Audio Outputs, if you go down here where it says Amplifier, you can see I have the selector in 2 channel, and that reflects it on the screen. Now I'm going to put in 7.1. Now let's put in 7.1 mode. If I hit that twice, the screen will flicker in between all these selections. And now you can see that it did toggle over to 7.1 channels. So now we're going to take a look at the Xbox Series X. If you go down to volume audio outputs, you can see I have a couple options. I have stereo, uncompressed, or headset format. Now let's go and press on the audio extractor and put it in 7.1 mode again. And then we're going to exit out of the screen, go back in. And now we have options for stereo uncompressed, 5.1 uncompressed, 7.1 uncompressed, Dolby Digital, DTS Surround, and Dolby Atmos for home theater. You get the full capabilities with this audio extractor. The last example is using this Windows computer. So if we choose on the device and go down here to the bottom, you can see I have a couple of options. One is for stereo, the other one is for the Windows Sonic with headphones. So let's switch it over to 7.1. Once the screen comes back up, we can exit out, and then we're going to go back in. Now at the bottom, we have options for stereo, 5.1, 7.1, or Windows Sonic for headphones. All right, so last thing we want to check here is the input lag. So I have an HDMI cable going directly to the television, and next we'll check it going through the audio extractor. So we're getting about 10.5 milliseconds, and that's pretty fast. So now let's hook up the audio extractor to see if we lose anything. So now I have the input lag tester plugged directly into the audio extractor. The TV is in gaming mode. Let's see what we get. So it looks like 10.3, 10.5. So it doesn't look like you're losing any type of signal running your cable through the audio extractor. One other thing you should know is that whenever you hook up eARC, since it's a two-way communication with the soundbar and the television, you can then use your television remote control to control the volume on your audio. So as you can see, this audio extractor really is a game changer, and if you want to learn more about it, we'll leave links in the description below. Thanks all for watching, and you have yourself a great day.